Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Welcome back to another fun and exciting episode of Next to Madison. This is episode 201, and on this episode, we are talking dating and relationships. I always love this topic because I am still dating myself. So I have a lot to learn, and I'm so honored that I was able to have a celebrity matchmaker, an online dating expert, join me on this episode today. I've got Carmelia Ray, and I'm so excited. We sit down, we talk about so many fun things. We talk about creating confidence, how your body language is 55% of communication, when to sleep together, how to get your sexual blueprint, why resilience is key in dating, how you should always be ready by carrying a condom if you choose to participate in that, and also how you can just create a more uncomplicated, happy, and fulfilled dating life. So you do not want to miss this. We'll be right back with our guest after this brief message.
Hey, it's Madison Malloy. I'm excited to announce that my new book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up, is now available online and in stores. You can pick up your copy today by going to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. This new book is a humorous self-help guide to help you remove the obstacles that are holding you back so you can take things less seriously and live a more enjoyable life. I'm so excited for you to read it. Now back to the show.
All right, welcome back to this very exciting episode where we're talking about dating and relationships. I know this is people's favorite topic, so I'm excited to have a celebrity matchmaker and online dating expert with us today. I'd like to welcome Carmelia Ray. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because people just love this topic. They really do. They love business and they love finance and all that, but they really tend to gravitate towards relationships. And I think it's because we're all secretly struggling and we're trying to master this area. So this is going to be a very exciting episode. So we're going to start with kind of the dating aspect of it. If you're married or in a relationship, don't tune out because we're going to get to stuff that's specific to your situation as well. And if you have friends that are dating or struggling with dating, you can share this episode with them, or you can drop advice for them when they ask you for help. So this will be good. So anyways, I want to kind of start with, how to date with confidence, because I feel that confidence, and I'm speaking from my own experience as well, sometimes is the determining factor if we are successful or not, or our overall happiness in the dating space.
Are you making a statement or asking the question?
Both.
I mean, number one, as a matchmaker, for your audience who doesn't know me, I've been in the dating industry, started in 1992, and I've had thousands and thousands of conversations with singles and couples who come to me as a matchmaker saying, I want these things. One of the number one traits that both men and women equally ask is that C word. I want someone confident. Now, confidence means so many things to so many different people, but the idea of being confident, and we should probably get the dictionary version of what it is. It's really being able to, in the dating space, just being comfortable in your own skin, like owning who you are, knowing who you are. I think that a lot of people who do not know who they are and do not know what they're looking for will lack that confidence because they don't have that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And confidence shows up in your body language. It shows up in your clothing. It shows up in your mannerism. It shows up in your way of speaking. The more confident you are, the more attractive you become to people, because confidence is an attractive quality. Everybody can tell when you're not confident. And, the timidness, the shyness, again, the body language. They say 55% of communication is nonverbal. So it's also, really shows up in how you present yourself when you're not speaking.
Wow, that's really well said. No, it is true. And there's times I know that in my own experience, I've gone on dates where I'm feeling really confident about where I'm at in my life. Maybe something really good happened that week or that day, and things go very well. And then there's moments where you're just kind of feeling shitty about things. Maybe you got some, rough news on the business front or whatever. And it really makes a difference, like a big difference, so I think
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah,
it,
100%.
and the other thing too is I've been telling my friends this. I don't know why I've become a go-to for relationship and dating advice. I'm like, I am not an expert in this field. I guess you read a self-help book and people you become the go-to, I guess. So, but
Yeah.
I tell people this saying where I'm just saying, I really believe that if something's meant for you, it's not going to pass you by. Now you can do things that can mess it up, but really you just need to relax and not overthink things. And don't personalize it, because that's where your lack of confidence comes in, is when you start saying, oh, I must not be pretty enough, smart enough, rich enough, whatever bullshit you're playing in your head. But I just think
Yeah,
if something's really meant for you, it'll be for you.
I agree with that. I think anytime you try to force an outcome, and also where you have this high level of expectation, that really is, I didn't coin this, but the definition of disappointment is when you have an unmet expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that you shouldn't have expectations or standards, but the fact of the matter is that you can't control people's behavior. You can only control your own behavior. And you emotionally, like another attractive quality, which is probably more of a buzzword for entrepreneurs that I work with, is this emotional intelligence. I want somebody with a high EQ. I want somebody who is expressive, that isn't afraid to say what they want. And so in that partnership with confidence, somebody who lacks confidence will be too shy or too afraid to state what they really want in a partner, because for fear that this person is going to judge them, or, oh, maybe if I say this, they're not going to like me.
Yeah.
If you're too concerned about them liking you, then you're putting more power and more emphasis on their view of you. You should be concerned whether or not they're a compliment to you, and
Amen.
not the other way around. It's the idea that a lot of people are dating with an empty cup. I'm sure you've heard this analogy.
Yeah.
My cup's empty, therefore I need someone to fill it, right?
Yeah.
And not just fill it with the stuff I have, but fill it with the things I don't have. And so, oh, I don't have confidence. Let me find a confident person. Oh, I'm shy. Let me find someone outgoing. Oh, I don't travel. Let me find someone well traveled. Well, does that person want to find you? Are you even considering whether or not you're their match? Because everything is partnership, everything is collaboration, everything is an agreement. And they're unspoken agreements and written agreements, which is why a lot of successful people have prenups, right?
Yeah.
They protect their assets, right? They got to think
Like,
about those things.
and I like to tell people, and I try to do this myself. Sometimes it's easier to give advice than to take it, but I say, if you're your business, that's a business of you, and you're interviewing this person, if they're going to add value to your business, that's how you have to think about it. Versus you're not trying to get a job, you're trying to hire for your own company. And if you go at it with that mindset, you're going to ask the right questions, and you're not going to have so much expectation, because it's really just an interview.
Yeah, I often quote this, and a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to will know the phrase. Sheryl Sandberg quoted, "The most important career choice you make is the person you marry."
Yeah.
And that is a career choice, because anybody who's ever been divorced, in a toxic relationship, having a terrible fight with their significant other, going through a breakup, like, how that impacts everything in your life. It impacts your mood, your health, your finances. You're in a space where you could be making poor decisions, hasty decisions, acting out of anger, fear, all of these negative emotions. So it's very true that your intimate romantic partner, and frankly, the people you're most closely associated with, will have the biggest impact on your career. And I know that medicine, you probably have heard them say, you are the sum of the 5 people
Mm-hmm.
you surround yourself with, whether that's you hang around 5 broke people, maybe you get broke. If you hang around 5 drug dealers or people who are addicts, it's only common or logical that their habits are going to have some impact to yourself, unless you're like impermeable and nothing around you affects you. But we're human beings, right?
Yeah, no, that was very well said. Well, it is so true, and I love that statement where it's like be surrounded by the people you want to be like, and that when we say, hey, if you're hanging around broke people, typically they're talking about lack of money, kind of they're going into this victimhood of what I don't have. When you're
Sure.
surrounded by more successful people, if that's what you want to become, they're going to be
Mhm.
talking about investments, business opportunities, things that are going to make them grow. So you do have to, surround yourself with the right circles. And the partner thing, I think, is so important because our relationship with our romantic partner really kind of is the driving force to everything we do. You said like our mood, if we're with somebody who we're constantly like not sure when they're going to write us back or how they're going to feel, we're going to naturally be very anxious, and it's going to spill over into everything we do.
Yeah, and going back again on the theme of confidence, I think that when I find scenarios where when am I not confident? Usually if I'm starting something new, if I'm not sure about the environment, it's really a lack of education and lack of experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even you can still bring confidence to new experiences because you have faith and belief in yourself. And you can confidently enter something new, or you could be scared and frightened entering something new. Those are two very different mindsets, right? Even though I might not have the skill set, I believe in myself and I know that it's just a matter of time that I
Yeah.
will get there. And I visualize that. I can already see myself, doing that thing. And oh, I can't wait till I graduate. I can't wait till I master this, but I'm already convinced that I will be that and that I'm going to do that. And back to the
Yeah.
mindset, I think, broke people or people who are thinking with scarcity focus on problems, where those who
Mm-hmm.
think abundantly and who have a rich mindset, they focus on solutions. What is
Yes.
the point of focusing on problems? They can't be fixed or they're in the past, where, okay, let's learn, let's grow, let's not repeat that, and let's focus on how we can avoid these things and find a more efficient way of getting something done.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And so that leads me kind of to a next point. What would you recommend as some positive manifestations or affirmations to have a healthy dating or love life? We'll apply it to everybody in this case.
Yeah, your intimate circle, your circle, right, is your environment is one thing that's going to greatly impact the mindset of calling love in, manifesting love in. So if you notice some people who date, or they complain about dating, they're usually dating someone that's unhappy with their job, unhappy with their health. There's always some kind of a complaint. So take inventory of where in your life, because nobody walks up, not a lot of people wake up and go, life is great. I have no problems. Trust me, I have a mountain of things that I need to address, but I don't let those be the thing that drags me down. Instead, okay, I need to take care of these things in order for me to be at my peak performance, my peak mindset, right? So
Yeah.
start with cleansing your environment. And maybe that also means cleansing the people you're around, the foods you eat, the exercise you're not doing or doing, right? Because there are some people who engage in risky behavior that could also cause them to have an accident. Or like, after, I remember my partner, when we had our child, I'm like, are you going to continue to do handstands off roofs and backflips off like the end of a swimming pool? Because like, I want to have somebody who can care for our child for the rest of their life. So you got
Yeah.
to start thinking about those things, because there are certain actions and behaviors that people take for attention, for bravado, for their own ego, for their sense of
Yeah.
importance. So look at where you are engaging in behavior that's more self-serving. Like, why are you doing those things? For example, when guys have money, or when anybody has achieved a level of success, but they're more interested in showcasing their success than pouring into others. Nobody likes a bragger, right?
Mm-mm.
Nobody likes to be around that flashiness. Maybe some people do. I can't say that for everyone, but for the most part, humility, having kindness, being the person that allows other people to shine. Those are all very attractive qualities when you allow other people to speak, you allow people to contribute to you instead of being the kind of person that like, oh, I already know that, or yeah, I did that too. Because successful people also are continuously growing. They're continuously developing. There's always room for growth. There's always open conversation, and they're also not completely defensive when they're criticized, because dating is difficult. And if you can't take don't take it personal. The book, The Four Agreements, I know one of the agreements is don't take things personally. I think dating is the most difficult landscape for people to not take it personally. And it's the most important time where you have to remove yourself, because it's always typically, right, a projection, somebody else's thought process. You don't have to adopt the labels that people call you, because you really are whoever you say you are, provided you're also doing the actions of the person that is that way. You can't call yourself ambitious if you're doing nothing to be ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times people say, well, I'm this. Okay, well, what evidence is there in the world that you are that, or that you're doing that? Or I'm philanthropic. I go to the gym. When's the last time you went to the gym? 6 months ago, but I have a gym membership. Great. So all of those things, I said so much at once. I hope you got something out of that.
Yeah, no, it's true. So it's actually, saying what you want to be and then actually doing the actions behind it, which is how you manifest.
100%.
So yeah. And okay, so there's this whole new thing that kind of ties into this that's really been all over social media, especially TikTok, called self-concept work. And it's a great way to more quickly manifest and build confidence. Have you heard of all this?
I have never heard of self-concept, but I get the context of it. So what is it?
So basically it's just you're just affirming and then creating a habit. You're basically saying mantras like, I am lovable, I am amazing, people want to be around me. So it's you're this vision of yourself. So if you were to take yourself outside of yourself and you're looking at that person, what are you seeing about that person? It's like you're becoming that. Like, people are drawn to me. I'm magnetic. I'm energetic. I'm funny. I'm whatever it is you want to be. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's just like how you see yourself. Like, you see yourself on a pedestal and not the other way around. I think with dating, and I used to make this mistake myself, you would put somebody else on a pedestal, and then you'd be kind of, dictating your emotions or how you felt based on that person's actions, instead of just being like, nope, I'm going to put myself on a pedestal. If you want to talk to me, go for it. If not, I'm good. So it's,
when I'm thinking about the auto shows coming up in Toronto, and they come up with these concept cars, right? Like, imagine before Tesla created the electric car or solar powered vehicles or anything. At one point, that was a concept. However, it wasn't a concept that wasn't going to become a reality. So in this concept that you're speaking about, self-conceptualization is seeing yourself as that being, as that higher level individual, as that more profound, more attractive, charismatic, charming. Like, I'm thinking of all the words that would appeal to me. And now for some people, somebody might want somebody who's more reserved and less in the limelight and conservative and more of a homebody. Like, not everybody has the same ideals about what success looks like. Success to me, and the kind of man I'm attracted to could be vastly different from the kind of man you're attracted to the kind of man another woman is attracted to. And I love to believe as a matchmaker, there are several lids for the pot, right? Like it's not just one size fits all. And some people are trying to jam a lid on a pot and it's just crazy. Or that, key square, is it the square
peg in a round hole?
Yeah. Square peg. Can you imagine that? I mean, this is what most relationships are like. Unfortunately, they're not even conceptualizing, they're just falling into relationships and mainly based on attraction without whole knowledge. And then they're in deep and then they're intimate. And now you have chemistry and now you've got hormones and now there's sex involved. And it's just a whole cocktail of mess that you try to get out of. And it can be very highly addictive. Love is the same energy and cocktail of chemicals as it is for fear and hate. And that's why we get this rush, right? Love and lust is also, so close together. It's even gives you that fight or flight feeling. Dr. Helen Fisher wrote an entire book and a famous TED Talk on, pardon me, the brain and love, which is fascinating. And she starts her talk with, you kill for love, you die for love, you yearn for love. So passionate. And how many of today's, unfortunate incidences and I don't want to go dark here, but it's part of this conversation where people do things in the name of love that are really drastic and unheard of. So we really have to manage our emotions, and that's why it's so important to have that confidence, to know yourself, to have the high level of emotional intelligence, and also to set really strong boundaries for what you accept as behavior that is good for you, right?
Yes, I love that. And so that brings me into my next question, which would be, when do you sleep with them? Because when you sleep with them, women, we tend to get attached because of the certain hormones that are released.
Yep.
So we can get a false sense of, like, is it love or is it lust? Like, we're not actually thinking straight. So what's the best time to be intimate?
That question I get a lot, and there's never a one size fits all answer. I think really in the way that people view sex to begin with. I'm working, one of my coaches, Neil, we created a strategy for our clients. It's called the PPA evaluation. So it's a combination of personology, psychology, and astrology. He has been studying birthdays and behaviors, and we use a combination of hexaco testing. There's a bunch of, and also a sexual blueprint. So in the sexual blueprint, I know. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and I know mine. I'm not going to share it with people, but I'll tell you that. I'll tell you, in our sexual blueprint, when you actually go through this test, which is why it's so important that if you don't know your sexual style, you don't know your sexual tolerance or your sexual behavior, then you're not going to understand why one person can sleep with somebody and sleep with multiple people and feel no ways about it and actually prefer that. And someone else requires energetic. So there's a sensual, which is the rubbing, the massage, the close connection, the kissing, cuddling. There's sexual, which is literally the act of sex. Forget foreplay, let's just do it kind of thing. Then there's kink, which there's a lot of people that are just into that kink, threesomes, foursomes, fetishes, all that stuff. And then there's energetic. So, and then there's some people that have the ability to do all four: sexual, sensual, energetic, and kink. So depending on where you identify, somebody who is kink can easily just hop in the sack, do whatever they do, tie them up, blindfold them, and it's all good day one. Okay. Like, I can't judge them for that. But imagine putting kink with sensual or energetic. They're going to be like, oh my God. You know? So
Right.
you have to. So the answer to that question is know your sexual blueprint. Know what's comfortable for you. Know if you're the person who's sensual, but you're agreeing to have sex with a sexual guy because that's the way he wants to bond with you. That's not your style. And so you need to be able to communicate that very openly. I don't have sex on the first date. I need more. This happened very recently to a pair that I was coaching. One of them, I'm 1,000% is a combination of sexual kink, and she's sensual, energetic. And oh my God, was he coming on? Like, send me a picture, like coming on real strong. And she's like, oh my God, like running away. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And that's because she was out of her comfort zone. And he's like, what's the big deal? And neither are right or wrong here. The fact is that they're speaking to their sexual desire and preference, and that's what people lack awareness in.
Yeah.
Now you got eyes open going, oh my God, like
I think I know mine. I figured mine out for sure. Yeah, for me, I can't sleep with, like, if I sleep with you, it means we're in a monogamous relationship.
Then that is likely energetic, as well as sensual, because energetic is really an emotional attachment and bond where you are literally sharing that energy. Sensual, again, sensual, you might not need to have the attachment, but you're not going to be the, bang, 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 and we're done. Like, for some people, it's totally cool. I know some people in that category that, 1 o'clock Madison's coming over and 3 o'clock Carmelia's coming over. Maybe we should use other names, but there are people that can engage in that kind of sex, and be totally happy. And then some people would be extremely frustrated if there's no foreplay, if there's no lead up, if there's no mental stimulation, if there isn't verbal acknowledgement. And that's not even talking about love languages, physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, and acts of service.
Yeah.
There are so many different ways that you can know yourself. And until you know yourself, you're going to discover what you're not when you have heartbreak, or when somebody leaves you, or when they're like your deer in headlights going, what just happened?
Yeah.
You need to communicate. You need to be okay with expressing what it is. And if you don't know, you need to figure those things out. And trial and error, whatever you have the mental and emotional capacity for, figure those things out before you start dating, before you start hopping in the sack, before you assume this person is the way that they are. And it's beyond just sexual blueprint. It's manipulation. It is the dark triad, actually is a score that tells, your level of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychosis, like crazy stuff. But before I enter and engage in a relationship, I already want to deeply understand their motive, even before they know their motive. So this is kind of the thing that we work on in my company, and how we coach singles so that they're more aware. And I feel like people date with blinders on.
Yes.
And they just go through experience after experience, not knowing what's going on and trying to therapy their way out of it. So date with confidence and date with knowledge.
No, that's very well said, because it goes in, your confidence goes into the boundaries, because when you are expressing your boundaries, you're confident. And also you should always, I feel like you have the power when you're okay with walking away if it doesn't fit your needs.
Yeah, more people are like, I have this image of, somebody grasping at somebody's ankle and just like, no, it's like, I was there. I have been there in my life. And I remember
we all have,
old me and my poor mother going, like, your parents always see your friends see the beautiful and the all of you that you don't see. And I think not everybody has to go through the pain of regret and the pain of a heartache. I hope that people who are hearing this, and couples, singles, whomever, will take from that you don't have to, trial and error your way into dating, and you should absolutely consider working with an expert or doing your own research before you start giving yourself and being intimate with someone, because there's no takebacks there, right?
No,
Yeah, there's
no.
no takebacks.
Yeah. And something that I'm, being more self-aware and kind of going through my own trials. I hadn't been dating for a while. And then in the fall, when I was back promoting my book in New York, I said, you know what, I'm going to put myself out there again. And, I met some wonderful people, I met some bad people, but that's just the nature of dating. But nothing really worked out. And then I realized, I'm like, why am I attracting these people
Mm,
that don't know how to communicate, that are running, seem like commitment phobes? I said, there's something in me that's attracting that. And what I realized when I took a deep look inside was that I have some commitment issues as well that I need to work on. So I was naturally attracting these people because I wasn't truly ready for that
yeah.
commitment. So I'm like, all right, what steps do I need to take to show up and be ready? And so
Yeah.
now I'm like more aware. But, I had somebody who I was supposed to meet up with in New York. Somehow we didn't connect. And then I'm back in Denver. And we had a FaceTime, and it was great. And we would talk, and things were great. But then they would just vanish for like days and be like, oh, sorry, I had a lot going on. And one of my key things is communication. So if they ever text me back again, I'm just going to say, listen, communication is key for me. And I know we haven't like met. I'd like to meet you. I think that we would get along great. But this is kind of a red flag. Everybody has 2 seconds to just say, hey, I'm really busy. I promise I'll get back to you. So there's something going on there. Or there was one guy that I was kind of hanging out with. And as soon as he got what he wanted, it was just, he would text me when he kind of felt like it, but he was never making a plan. And I'm like, this guy's a complete piece of shit. So I had to be like, you know what, pump the brakes,
Yeah.
figure out what it is in me that's attracting that, and how can I be more clear with the boundaries. And what I figured out was, when your confidence is really high, you don't give a shit if they walk away. This is
Mm,
what I'm going to say. And if you walk away, you're not for me. Thank you for getting out of my life so I can bring somebody in that is. But it's hard sometimes, because sometimes I think it's human nature to be like, what is it about me that doesn't,
yeah.
you know?
I'll share something very similar to what you shared. In the evaluation that we do on the psychological side, or it's the Hurat reading. And I had it redone, and I recorded it yesterday with Neil. I scored 100% in authority. Now, why that's great,
Wow.
in authority, it's the ability to delegate and to literally. I actually read the definition of authority, and I'm like, okay, I can see where that is great in business. Imagine authority as a female inside a partnership. So, as much as I'm 100 in authority in business, where that could be great, and this is common for women like myself, women like you as well, it's the exact same point. Who am I going to be attracted to? Authoritative guys. How is that going to play out when you are in partnership? Right?
Yeah.
What am I willing to give up or not give up? Where are we going to butt heads? How can two people who are 100 in authority work together? It's not impossible, but it's acknowledging and recognizing that, hey, this is inherent in my personality. I have
Hmm.
always been authoritative. Authority doesn't also mean that you're bossy or mean. You
Right.
just command it, right?
Yeah.
There are other things, and like exhibitionism. I was a 42. So exhibitionism, for those who need more clarity, is like, your comfort level in showing your body, or in actually, it actually refers to exhibitionism even in showing genitals, because exhibitionists, hey man, nude beach all the time. If they have, I mean, you've said if a man has an erection, he's loud and proud and he doesn't care. He'll be showing it out there
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in gray track pants, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that would make me super uncomfortable if I was with somebody that was like constantly taking off his shirt, and it would make me uncomfortable. Not because I'm
Yeah.
insecure, it's because at my core, that's my comfort level. right? So in knowing that, and it makes me understand too why when I've dated men in the past that were not comfortable even with the level of exhibitionism that I have, which is a 42. Oh, are you going to wear that? That's a little showy, or it's a little too sexy. I'm like, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
So knowing your scores though is knowing, okay, is which of these traits, because you don't have to be 100% compatible, but you have to be aware, because at the end of the day, there are key life values that are more important and outweigh certain personality traits, such as your views on finance, your views on career, your views on health, your views on, we talked about money, your views on religion and politics. These are some of the things that can be quite polarizing and deal breakers when it comes down to partnership. Not how tall he is, not even necessarily that you have the same sexual blueprint, when it comes down to long-term happiness. And unfortunately, when it comes to dating, people tend to prioritize and lead with the things that at the end of the day don't even matter, or are not even a consideration, like the height, like the age to a degree, but we all, like a lot of women, can feel the impact of ageism more so than men.
Yeah.
In this, oh, you're over 35. Oh my God, you're 50. You're ancient. I just turned 50. I turned 50 March.
You look good, girl. Damn.
Thank you. Yeah.
You.
Well, I'm owning it. I love it. Like, I actually on any dating sites or dating apps, I'm happy and proud to say that I'm 50, because I get that reaction. I am 50. I'm not going to change that, but I look damn good. And so I get more people going, are you sure you didn't lie about your age, or blah, blah, blah?
You're like, if I was going to lie, I wouldn't be lying about older. Hello.
Right. Right. But I also coached this gentleman who hired a company to help him do his dating profile. He's a medical doctor, very, very successful. The profile said 5'8" and 43. So I know that men lie about two things. They lie about height and money. Women lie about two things. Primarily, they lie about age and weight. So when I qualified him, I said, dear sir, I'm going to call him John. I know that I've reviewed your profile. However, I would like to know your actual biological age according to your driver's license, as well as the height that is actually on your driver's license. He's 5'5" and 49. And yet this company put him out as 5'8" and 43. What is that? Even like, I'm not going to name the company, I'm not going to name the person. But that to me lacks confidence, because what are you going to do? Magically gain 3 inches on a date? Like, that's a horrible way to start a date. And then secondly, manipulate your way to dating a younger woman because you want to have kids. Like, there's plenty of women that will date in a 12 to 15-year age span that don't care. He's actually successful, has a high net worth, really nice guy. And I'm like, look at Tom Cruise, Richard Dreyfuss, all of these short men that I was naming off that have no issues finding women. And like, that's not the way to lead a relationship.
No. Well, exactly. I mean, I remember I ran into that. There was one general, like, I didn't go over a certain age on my profile. And then when they came in, and I guess they were divorced and had kids, and I asked how old the kids were. And then I questioned the age. I said, oh, you started very young. And they were like, I can't switch it on my dating profile, but I'm actually 54.
Comment, I made a mistake on
the
dating app.
Yeah, I was like, that's a 5-year like difference. That's a lot for when you're older, like, it's a lot. So anyways, I gave him a chance, but I shouldn't have. He started with a lie and he turned out to be a complete doof, but you live and you learn.
Yeah, and see, the thing that I would coach both men and women is, like, let's say it wasn't a lie yet. You were actually, some people unfortunately feel like they have to game the system. They have to manipulate the system because, to their point, most people are so narrow in their criteria that they will get overlooked when I'm an exceptional 50-year-old woman. There's other exceptional 25-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 70-year, like there's people that are exceptional all the way. I think when people understand and focus on what truly matters, and there's a comfort level, I would say willing to date plus or minus 10, plus or minus 5 at least. I mean, I was 9 years older than both my previous partners. No, my first husband was 3 years older, but like age to me is not that big of a deal unless the health is like, I'm more concerned about their lifespan, their age. Are their parents still alive? There's genetics. I actually do you can do genetic testing. There's all kinds of things that you can do to see if you're a match, if you're that serious about it. And for my clients, they're that serious about it. So you can literally ask for anything. You start with transparency, and then you're going to get a better match when you lead that way.
Okay. So what are key questions that people should be asking on first dates?
Well, I think that you need to define your relationship goals. And I don't think that is something that people should shy away from. And then you want to make sure that their behavior matches the relationship goal that they state. To your point, if somebody wants a serious relationship, and how do you show interest? Interest is obvious. And I make a lot of the statement, if you have to question if they're interested, they're likely not interested.
Exactly.
Right? The only place where I would say to look further into that is when you are working with an anxiously attached individual. Because even anxiously attached individuals, even if there is connection, they'll question that connection. It's not frequent enough. There's certain things that you can do to support the fact that you're unlovable, right? Or, oh, well, they didn't message me back within the hour. So I think you need to understand the communication. So for the example where you might have expressed to that person, hey, I really value communication. And it takes 2 seconds to literally just say, hey, what's up? Now, if he returned a response to say, I value communication as well, and I'm away, blah, blah, blah. Like, can you work with like a text in the evening? I like something to show that he's acknowledging where you're at. Here's what I'm able to do. And even when I was dating post separation, there's different points that people are in life. I just separated. I'm like looking to just have dinners with some guys, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, I'm past my separation. I want to date casually. Now I want to date seriously. I'm dating with intention. Like, you got to just explain, where are you at, and be okay with it. There was a point in time where I was dating somebody, and he was like ready to put a ring on it, like on date 4. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I need to find that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so sick of dating. I just need to meet my person. I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm done.
I get it, but and that's also too, when I say that, I'm saying that with a little bit of humor and a little bit of like, there's just like, you can tell when a man is like, listen, I'm willing to, and this happens to a lot of my clients. I only want to date you. I'm cutting off everybody else. My focus is 100% on you. We all want to hear that as women, right? We all want to hear that as guys. Men who are listening to this too are probably thinking the same thing. Look, I'm tired of dating, all these women that can't, it's both ways. This is not a gender specific thing. I work with both men and women who are equally tired of the games. That being said, I also don't believe that someone should cut their options off just because someone is staking claim to you. Well, give it time. Let's see how consistent that is after 90 days, after 30 days, before you get into intimacy. How long are they going to wait? Listen, if you're comfortable sleeping with the person, sleep with them. But like, I have a lot of clients that they get really excited. Everything ticks the box, and they want to cut off all the momentum and all the options they had because the unicorn showed up. Guess what? You don't know that unicorn that well. What if the unicorn has a big smelly pile of doo-doo in the back? Like, you don't know. You
Yeah.
gotta,
So
I think people should continue to date openly and honestly. And I've never ever had a man give up on a woman when they saw the prize. And just I'll leave with this. Grant Cardone, real estate billionaire.
yeah.
I interviewed both him and his wife when he met Elena. And sometimes people just know, and they're together now. He said, as soon as I said, she's it. He called her he called her 26 times once a month for a year, every month, whether she picked up the phone, didn't pick up the phone, dating or not, and he was strategizing. He's like, we're talking follow up here. Okay. And then they're married now, and she had lots of options and he had lots of options, and he still dated, but he's like, I'm just filling my time until she becomes my wife. When you hear the story or listen to that podcast, it's on my podcast, Better Love, both sides. That's how somebody's willing to do the thing and she didn't flat out say no to him. She didn't say, I don't think you should waste your energy if someone goes, look, buddy, I'm never going to be interested in you. I have zero attraction for you. You can call my phone for 25 years and it's not going to happen. At that point, that's your choice or not. But that never happened. He just knew, and he put in the effort until finally the thing that got her, he found out that she loves to shoot guns, right? So they went to the same church, and the thing he said, oh, hey, Elena, I rented the so-and-so golf range for the entire day. If you'd like to come by and like shoot some guns with me. And she's like, okay, because that's what, first of all,
amazing.
To rent an entire gun range, he was a very successful guy, but they now together, they built an entire empire. But and she's same thing. She's like, who is this guy? God, persistent. And then finally, she gave in. And it's a great story. I love that.
I did. Yes, I've heard them talk about that because I follow them on social. Yeah, it's it is such a great story. I think every woman hearing this is like, I want to find that person that does that.
I know.
But the more confident you become, you will. I had somebody ask me a very, very interesting question. And I'm riding with my guy friend. He's married, very successful. And we're driving in his Ferrari, and we're going to a golf course that he owns, right? We're going to a meeting, and we're both religious. And we talk about prayer, we talk about God, and we're just having a conversation. I was telling him a little bit about the struggles in dating and kind of the jerks I was meeting. And he said to me, you seem to pray for things in business. You prayed for an opening for God to show you a way. And he basically brought you a book, like everyone that needed to make a book happen, and now more books. Have you ever prayed to God for the right partner? And I said, no. And he goes, well, why not?
Really?
And I looked at him with the most honest answer. There was no filter. It was almost like God was just coming through me, and it went out. And I just said, because I trust that God will bring it to me, and I don't think I'm ready. And he goes, bingo. Now this was October. So now I'm like making shifts. But he goes, that was the most fascinating thing ever. You believe that God would bring you what you needed, but you knew you weren't ready to receive his gift. So therefore you're not asking. And I didn't even realize I was doing this till it shot right out of my mouth. So I think you have to understand, if you were to ask God or whatever you believe in, the universe or whatever, for whatever you think you're looking for, and it was going to happen as a guarantee, would you be ready for it? That's the question I think people need to ask themselves, because it just shot out of my mouth. It never even crossed my mind.
What's really powerful about what you shared is that I think there are thousands, if not millions, of men and women that are experiencing and living that truth of not being ready, and acting as if, or saying they want, but when it shows up, it's like push it away, sabotage it, ruin it, do whatever to it, because they actually fear whatever that fear is, whether it's fear of getting my heart broken, fear that this person will leave. It's all come out of fear. It's really fear-based. And at the point where somebody is about to invest in matchmaking as well, because matchmaking is an investment, hiring a coach is an investment, hiring a dating coach is an investment, getting a photo shoot is an investment, doing our nails and doing all this, and making ourselves attractive. This isn't free. Okay.
No, I'm about to go get my second Morpheus treatment, and I got to take so many pain pills for it.
Exactly. And it's like, the thing is that we subconsciously are terrified of actually finding that partner. Yet so it's the pain of like, what do you want more? Right? You have to put yourself in there. And some people they're just sitting at the sidelines, hoping to get picked, and then complain about not having options. And then the options come and they'll do something. So thank you for sharing that. And I think it's like really, really, really authentic and real of you to share that. Oh my God. Like, the thing is, if you know that you want to do it, I think everybody can do it, can have it, but it comes down with everything we just wrapped up in this conversation about being aware, about seeing it. And I love the fact that you said, when I'm ready, I'm going to call it and I'm going to ask for it. So that's really, really powerful.
And I think I am ready, but it's like, nobody wants to get hurt or heartbroken. But the thing in life is there's no guarantees. And every time I get hurt or people get hurt, I always think there's a lesson behind it. Always. What are you learning? There's a growth behind it. So if you look at it like life happens for me, not to me, 100%. It can make it a little different. I mean, the guy that didn't call me back or like didn't text me back, like, did it sting a little bit? Yeah. And then I said, what hurts? And I said, my ego hurts. My heart doesn't hurt. My ego hurts. Separate your ego from and just be like, he did me a favor. Now that person's out and I can work on calling in the right person. So you really do have to keep your eye on that prize, even though some of the ones that come your way, you're like, darn it. I wish that was the one. But you just something better. The thing is, if they're not choosing, like, they have to choose you back, right? They're saying that women choose. And to a degree, that's very, very true. And we're the ones that say yes to all the things, right? But if he doesn't choose you back, it's like he was the wrong choice for you, because it has to be reciprocal. And that's absolutely a gift. It's absolutely telling you something. And one of the things that women, I want to share with women, including yourself, is it's not, I got to get better. You might, like, a lot of times women take these no's as personal. Maybe he likes women with red hair, blue eyes, and a big butt. Like, I cannot tell you how many men come to me with uber specific criteria about what they want. I'm not saying that's of everyone. I think that perhaps some of the men that have come to me are thinking that women come in a factory and I can just say, okay, blonde hair, blue eyes, 36, 24, like, because I'm a matchmaker. It's just, here we go. Here's my fact. There it is. Like, sometimes they think that. Like, are you looking for a sex doll or a human being?
Yeah, you can actually make one of those, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But that being said, I imagine what it's like dating, for a woman to date a man like that and then to be rejected because that's not his physical type and or personality or whatever it could be that they're hung up on. It's not you. I mean, it's you if you're really a nasty person and you don't call back and you have poor dating habits and you don't show up confidently. Yes, of course, we can all be better versions of ourselves, but just take it as that wasn't your match and you got to move on. Resilience is really, really important when it comes to dating. Yes. So you have to be uber resilient. And that only happens when you have other options. It's not revolving door and it can be so tiresome. But again, dating from scarcity means that you will be more prone to
Yes.
picking the guy that likes you back. That's not how dating works. You
I
choose.
like that, because I always told somebody, or I would tell like my friends and family, I said, you know what? When I get back into the dating world, which I'm trying to right now, it's just, I'm just in Denver and I don't want to live here. So why would I date here? I'm going to have
We'll talk after this.
okay, perfect. I want to have like a basketball team. I want to have like a whole roster on the bench, right? Because then it makes you more relaxed and you're more fun, because you're not subconsciously saying, okay, this is the only thing I got. Now I'm going to, be attached to it. And then you give off that desperate energy that just repels people. So I think
Yeah, and
it's,
even talking about sexual partnerships, I remember my coach Neil said to one of my clients, you know what? Walk with a condom in your purse. Why? She's like, well, because you'll always be ready and everything will be clean and you'll be shaved and you'll be wearing the panties and you're like, and she's like, oh, never. The mindset that it could happen. So just walking with the condom in her purse, like, okay, I don't have to make an excuse. Oh my God, I didn't shave my legs. I didn't do this. I'm wearing my granny panties. No, be ready for that experience. Even if it doesn't happen, but you're ready
Brilliant.
for it.
I like it. I put it in my book, always be ready for the best day of your life. Now, what I was thinking when I wrote that was, you're going to meet somebody that's going to hire you, fund your business, give you a role, whatever it is you're seeking. I wasn't thinking of the, hey, you could, have an escapade sexually. So I like that, but it goes back to always be ready.
Always be ready and build the muscle, build the and to your point, when someone says, and I'm not going to say, no, you should only have sex in monogamous relationship. I think that we as human beings have needs. We need to, what are the boundaries? How far can we go? Should we have a one night shag for fun and just be like, oh, maybe you need that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well,
not to go against your values.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
against your values.
exactly.
But,
yeah. I know I get attached now, and I didn't realize previously that was happening to me. So I was inherently unhappy when I was doing this. And I'm like, now I realized what it is. So it's like, I can't really like do that. But I think if maybe you had a roster, you could do it, because then you're
yeah.
like,
And also
good.
men categorize too. They're like, yeah, you're not wife material, but I can sleep with you. You're like, and as long as you're transparent. If you,
exactly.
The only reason why I'll just offer that you might be attached in the sexual concept is that you're sleeping with somebody that is an actual future candidate. If you sleep with someone who's never going to be a future candidate, it's a different story.
True. Well, that's true. Exactly. And what's sad is like, I've had people that I've made them wait like 5 or 6 dates, and then they'll tell you exactly what you want to hear. And then once they get what they want, they disappear. And then they come back a month later going, you're the best one I've ever had, blah, 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 blah. But it was just like, that's all they wanted. They weren't making a plan to see you. They would say, come over. And I'm like, no, listen, buddy, like, I got boundaries. Lose my number and go fuck yourself with your hand. We're done. I'm good. Like, bye.
Yeah. And so there's things that you like, some things, unfortunately, there are experts at getting what they want. And as long as you got me, move on. Right. Like, that's where it's like, we can't beat ourselves up for things that we can't control, because at by nature is naivety. Even though I'm authority or this or that, like, I'm very trusting.
Yeah.
So that could lead to situations where I can be taken advantage of in the dating context, in the business world. So knowing that, I can ask deeper questions. I have my confidants. I have people by my side supporting me in every aspect of my life, because I want that. I need that. So this is something that I would encourage people who are unsure about dating. Get yourself a support group, find someone you trust, or work with a professional.
No, I like that, because I think it's important to know exactly what you want, know how to ask the questions, be confident when you show up. And what I'm going to say to kind of wrap this all up is that we overcomplicate life, and we certainly overcomplicate dating. It's not that hard. You just need to find somebody that gels with you and know what you want and start uncomplicating it. At least that's what I'm trying to do.
I love this conversation, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I
So
share it.
please tell people where they can find you. If they need to hire you as a matchmaker, or where they can get the test, or any of the things you
Yes. Oh
talked
my
about.
goodness. You can go to the best way, two places. CarmeliaRay.com is my website. For the testing that I spoke about here, it's the PPA evaluation. It's on my site. I think it's done wonders. It's incredible. We do an ex-lover analysis, so you can do the 3 birthdays of the 3 guys or women that you just want to get a deep dive on, and it's mind-blowing. And my Instagram at Carmelia Ray. If you can find me anywhere, all my socials are the exact same thing on every platform. So there's just one of me, and I'm so grateful to be here. So
yes. Thank you so much. And I know you guys, we ran out of time, but we didn't talk about the stuff for relationships, but that's okay, because we're going to bring her back on, and we're going to talk about when you're actually married or getting married, and what you can do to keep that bond, so you don't end up as a statistic of 50% divorced. So we will have you back. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you everyone who has tuned in wherever you may be. We will see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.